Hey, what's up, Street Talks? It's Eric from the Eric Street Photography blog. So just doing a walk around the block, and I just want to give you guys some tips on how you could earn $10,000 a month from photography. So obviously this is not going to work for you, but these are some strategies and tips that I've personally used, which has worked for me. Once again, this is not going to work for you, but what my ambition is for me to share some of these thoughts and ideas with you, and hopefully you could kind of get some positive ideas out of it. So first principle is you need to charge money for your photography. So this is the weird thing, is that as photographers, we all like to we don't like to charge money for our photography because we feel like we're selling out. And that's the biggest psychological hurdle that you have to get over if you want to make a lot of money from photography, because a lot of people, especially in America, kind of this weird Judeo-Christian philosophy is that money is the root of all evil. Jesus said it's harder for a rich man to have a camel enter the needle of an eye if you want to go to heaven, blah, blah. So we all associate money and evil. So to make money off your passion or to make money off your photography is a bad thing. So first of all, get that idea out of your head. Money is nothing but information, trust in the economy, trust in governments, ones and zeros in your bank account. And if you live in a capitalist society that most of us do, you need money in order to use as a tool to pay your rent, buy your freedom, and survive. So get that out of your head. So principle number 2 is charge a lot of money for your photography. So my prediction is, you already see this now, is that like you see college students, anyone can afford a used Canon 5D Mark II and make really good images. And you could buy like a Canon 5D Mark II for maybe, I don't know, like less than $1,500. And you could get a nice L lens used for probably like, I don't know, maybe $800. And so anyone with an initial investment of like $2,000 could be a pretty good wedding photographer. And all these wedding photographers will shoot weddings for free. And so these are people you're trying to compete against. But what I think is, if you want to make at least $10,000 a month off photography, try to aim for the high end. So I think it's better, rather than getting lots of small jobs, get a few really big jobs. And that's kind of counterintuitive advice, because people are like, oh, you should shoot a wedding every single weekend, blah, blah. No, I mean, if you shoot one wedding, if you get to the point where you could charge $10,000 for a wedding, you just have to shoot one wedding a month and you're pretty much set for money. Let me give you guys some examples of what I do. So I teach photography workshops more or less for a living. The reason I teach workshops is because I love to teach, and teaching is my passion. And if I get, let's say, if I charge, let's say, $5,000 for a workshop, for a week-long travel workshop somewhere, I only need 2 students in the world of 7 billion people to attend. And there's so many people out there with lots of money. And like, for example, if I could spend $5,000 to hang out with Bruce Gilden or Martin Parr for a week in Tokyo and hang out with them and have coffees with them and share life stories, hell yeah, I'd invest that money into that kind of experience. Because I think in today's world, many of us photographers, we're thirsting for experiences. We're not really looking to, you know, like, many of us think that buying a new camera is going to bring us happiness, but actually in reality, true happiness comes from having memorable experiences, making new friendships, and essentially making more meaningful photographs. And so for me, the way I was able to, you know, monetize my photography and get to the point where I could earn more than $200,000 a year for my photography is I either give away my information for free or I charge a lot of money for it. So like, so for example, Cindy and I did a workshop, a week-long travel workshop in Vietnam for $3,500. And we got I don't know, like 12 people to sign up. So you just do the math. That's a lot of money. And I actually do think that, I'll probably do more videos on this, but I think that the future photography, if you want to make a lot of money in photography, I don't know about commercial work because I've never really done much commercial work. Education, I think, is going to be the future of photography because more and more people are getting iPhones, more and more people are getting into photography. They're going to want to learn how to use their camera and how to make better photos. And society, I mean, this is something that actually makes me quite sad, but poor people are getting poor, middle class is dying. They're not going to exist in the next 30 years, I think. And the rich are just getting richer. So even me, and this is very unfair because I was very lucky. If you Google street photography, I'm like #2 on Google for street photography, which means if you go on Google and you search anything, 80% of traffic is directed to the #1 position on Google, and then maybe like 10% on #2. And then after that, you're essentially screwed. And so I've been lucky enough to have blogged a lot on street photography. I've written from 2011 to 2017. I've blogged once or twice a day, and eventually that's turned in over 6 years. It's over 2,700 blog posts. I've done 500 videos on YouTube. I'm essentially, at this point, the king of street photography. There's no one who's more famous in street photography on the internet than I am. And I'm not the world's best street photographer. There's so many more talented street photographers than me, but I'm just lucky because I know how to market myself and I know how to use the internets, how to use that to my personal advantage. So, in my position now, if a company wanted to do a commercial shoot for them, I'm going to quote at least $100,000, or else it's not really, because I'm greedy with my time, it's not worth my time. If a big company like Apple reached out to me, I would charge $250,000. And if I'm doing workshops into the future too, because now so Cindy's she's really built up our company Haptic quite a lot, and we're every single day in passive income. We're earning between $20 and like $1,000 a day, and our living expenses. I did the maths. We don't actually need more than like $40,000 a year, and if I do 2 workshops. Like lately, I've been charging a lot of money for workshops. I could earn like 20 grand off of a single workshop. I just have to do 2 workshops in a year, and that's enough for our living expenses. And even moving forward, I'm going to start charging way more money. I'm going to start charging at least, probably for a week-long workshop, like $10,000. For a weekend workshop, I don't know. For a 2-day workshop, I'm going to start charging $2,000. Maybe a 1-day workshop, $1,000. And essentially, at this point, my monetization strategy is I'm charging a lot of money for people who could afford it, and I'm going to give away information like this for free, rather than trying to nickel and dime you guys and putting stupid, annoying YouTube videos, ads on YouTube videos and whatnot, because I do believe that information is empowerment. And I essentially want you to buy your freedom. If you live in America, assume you don't live in San Francisco or New York, you probably don't need more than $2,000 US a month to make a living. But I think it's a good idea to shoot higher. So think about how you could earn $10,000 a month, because you're not going to earn $10,000 a month. That's the sad reality. Even if you're extremely talented, even though you might be like Eric Kim, even though you might work 14 hours a day, you're not going to make it. 99.9999% of photographers are going to fail. And I'm sorry, that's the sad truth. So I think it's a better strategy to keep your day job, to have your 9-to-5 job. I built up my blog when I was working, a 40-hour-a-week, 9-to-5 tech job. I worked as an online community manager for this company called Demand Media, ehow.com, based in Santa Monica, making 40 grand a year out of college. Pretty good. And I just started the blog for fun. I never actually intended to make a living out of it. And now that I'm very lucky is that I'm very rich monetarily, spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever. I feel like it's my duty to help empower you guys, because I feel like I've kind of discovered the key to, I don't know, success, whatever that means. And I want to share this key with you. Also, a practical tip is if you want to start earning $10,000 a month from photography, it's going to take you a long time. So I didn't start earning $10,000 a month from photography. It took me 5 years to get to $10,000 a month from photography. The first year, barely scraping by, maybe like $30,000 a year from photography. Next year was like $40,000, $50,000. Next year was like 60. Next year was 80. Then it was 100 a year, and now it's currently around 200 a year. And my aspiration is within the next year, I want to earn at least $1 million US a year, and to hopefully use those profits to help support my family and also build, I don't know, like more local photography community centers and whatnot. And my ultimate ambition is for Cindy and I to build up Haptic to be the world's first $1 trillion imaging photography art company. And hopefully we could use that money to fix a lot of social problems in the world. So I work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. I drink a shitload of coffee. I don't eat breakfast or lunch no more because that slows me down. I work out. I go to the gym. I do deadlifts. I do chin-ups on trees. You're going to have to fucking work really fucking hard, 7 days a week, hustling before work, after work, during work. Practical tips is if you want to actually, so most of us, we don't have enough time. The easiest way to make time is, I'll just give you some simple assignments. Step 1, cancel your Netflix membership and uninstall Netflix from your laptop or your phone or whatever. Step 2, don't go out and drink or party or smoke weed or do drugs anymore, because that shit's gonna fuck you up. It's gonna waste time that you could actually spend building up your business. And people are gonna hate you, they're gonna call you asshole, but fuck it, you're building up your own personal empire. Also, uninstall Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat from your phone, unless you actually do need it for work. Then you don't need that, it's just a whack distraction. Also, build up your own platform, own your own website, because if you want to make money in photography, can you imagine like you're meeting somebody who's like a potential business client, you're like, oh yeah, here, check out my Instagram. It's like, no one's gonna take you seriously. Go to bluehost.com, register your own website, firstnamelastname.com or firstnamelastnamephoto.com. Upload your portfolio, upload one portfolio with your 10 best images, right? And put a pricing sheet on your website. Don't be that, oh, contact for inquiries. No, just straight up have 3 price options: your low-end option, your mid-end option, your high-end option. So for example, let's say you have confidence in wedding photography. I would recommend your weddings start at $1995 US dollars, so $1,995, because that looks more appealing than round numbers. So for example, $1,995 looks better than $2,000. It looks cheaper. Have your mid-end option be $4,995. Have your high-end option be $10,000. Realistically, no one's going to book you for $10,000. What they call this is anchoring, which means that they'll probably book you for your mid-end or your low-end option, because compared to $10,000, it looks a lot cheaper. And this is a good marketing strategy because human beings don't know how to compare prices. So everything is just by comparison. So for example, you go to a car dealership. This is a classic tactic. They'll show you the most expensive car on the lot. So let's say, you know, you go to the Porsche dealership. They'll show you the, I don't know, $300,000 Porsche Panamera turbo, blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, oh, that's too much money. Then they'll show you the entry-level Boxster that's only 50, 60 grand. You're like, wow, that's such a deal. And then you take out your credit card and you become a slave to credit card debt for the next 10 years. Or, similar example, you go to the store, you want to buy some clothes. You know, you go to the department store, you see, I don't know, an Hermes bag for $700. You're like, oh my God, bags for $700, that's ridiculous. And then you see a Coach bag for like $200. You're like, that's a steal. And then you swipe your credit card and you just put yourself in a little bit more debt slavery for a few more years. So that's how marketers tactic things. Similarly, you go to the Apple store, you're like, oh my God, the $5,000 Mac Pro is so expensive, but the $2,000 MacBook Pro seems a lot more reasonable. Also, another way that you could monetize better in your photography, let's say you teach workshops, always have an early bird discount, because it's going to incentivize people to sign up for an early bird discount. So for example, let's say I'm doing a week-long travel workshop in Tokyo, right? The normal price will be $20,000. The early bird discount will be $9,995. The reason I'm going to do that is because it's going to incentivize people to sign up hopefully 3 months early. So I'm not going to lose money on that thing by booking my airfare, flights, hotel accommodation, and also renting the room to teach a workshop. And also it's going to be necessary for me to use all that money in order for me to invest the time necessary to even set up the workshop in terms of all the logistics. Because honestly, teaching a workshop is like 80% logistics. And Neil Ta, my manager, he is a god because he helps wipe my bum and he helps me with everything business, because I'm actually not very good with business. And also Cindy, because she prevents me from going out and buying Lambos. So you can get rich off of photography, and whoever says that you can't get rich off your passion, they're just disillusioned. People who pursued art, photography, and wanted to make a living out of it, but they might have not succeeded, and individuals who just were too scared to pursue their passion and make a lot of money off of it because they felt guilty about it. At this point, I'm just like, fuck it. You know, I'm an American. I'm a bloodthirsty capitalist. I'm going to make as much money as I can in my lifetime. But my goal is when I'm about to die, I want to have $0 in my bank account, because hopefully I'm going to use this money to empower other people. Money is not a bad thing. Remember that. In terms of how you could build up a brand in yourself, it's all about trust. So Apple took a long time before people thought Apple was legit. To be frank, Apple took probably 20 years before people started to actually think, oh, Apple is the cool brand. Similarly, Toyota, Japanese cars, Honda were seen as cheap cars, kind of like how people used to see like Korean cars, Kias and Hyundais as cheap. It took them like 20, 30 years of building up their brand image through trust of having reliable cars before people are, oh, this is actually quality is good. Even now, Kia, I think Kias make awesome cars now. I would totally buy one. The new Stinger or whatever looks pretty cool. It took them a fucking long ass time to shake off that image of looking like a cheap brand. It took them like, I don't know, 20, 30 years. And so just know that building up your brand image and trust, it's gonna take a fucking long ass time. Like even me, I've hustled from 2011 to 2017 now. 6 years, it took me 6 years, working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I'm, in theory, only making $200,000 a year. If you really want to make a lot of money quickly, you're probably better off being a computer programmer, working at Amazon, Google, Facebook, or becoming an investment banker and working on Wall Street, because you could do that a lot sooner. So the point isn't to just make a bunch of money for the sake of it. The point is just to buy your freedom, because now, I'll give you some examples. I'm a very entitled asshole and I don't like to be bothered. So, you know, I don't check social media. I'm sorry guys, I don't actually read any of these YouTube comments. I don't own a phone anymore. I own my time, I own my space. I essentially could wake up and do whatever the fuck I want for the next 24 hours. I'm lucky enough that the work I want to do is actually help you guys. And yeah, I essentially at this point have my what they call fuck you money. Is that in a weird way, I could say fuck you to the man in society. I'm not a slave to society no more. I could just do whatever I want to do, which is empowering other human beings. I can make photos when I want to. I could take a nap when I want to. I could drink espresso when I want to. And I could give out free information like this without feeling like, oh, you know, sign up for my newsletter and get a free ebook on the secrets of making $200,000 a year. I'm like, nah, fuck that. Oh yeah, also that's a nice thing. I could curse and not care whether people like me or not. I like me. I like you. I think you'd like me if you met me for an espresso at a coffee shop. So going back to the idea of making $10,000 US a month. So let's do some simple math. So let's say you're starting off teaching photography workshops. I would recommend, if you're going to ever start a workshop, start at least 500 a person. You get 12 students to sign up. That's $6,000. After expenses, that's more realistically probably going to be more like $2,500, maybe $3,000. You do one workshop every single weekend for 4 weekends, you can make $10,000 a month. Practical tips is have the normal price for your workshop be $800. Early bird discount, $495. Make the early bird discount 2 months before the actual day of the workshop. Use paypal.com to process payments. That's what I use. It's easiest. PayPal only takes a 3% cut, so it's very minimal. And also the nice thing is that people could pay through PayPal even without having a PayPal account. They could just use their credit card. Own your own website, own your own platform. To build an audience will take a fucking long ass time. It took me a year of constant blogging before I could have any followers. Write useful articles you would like to write. Write tips articles, like 10 tips you've learned about whatever about photography. These are very useful. Interview other photographers who you admire, and you can empower these photographers and they'll share this with their friends on social media and email, so you'll drive more traffic to your blog. Do guest blog posts on more popular websites. Then link back to your blog. You'll build traffic that way. Do free YouTube videos. Don't put on ads because that shit's annoying. Try to make the best information you possibly can. There's a saying in the blogging world called content is king. Content, I fucking hate that word. Content being information, aka videos, blog posts, ebooks, whatever. Content is king. I think information is king. Make the best information you can. You don't know what other people like, but you certainly know what you would like to read. When I started this blog on street photography, I couldn't find nothing on the internet on how to make good street photography, on how to overcome my fears. I experimented for a long ass time, and then I eventually made the video myself. The videos on street photography, free ebooks, and just keep all your information open and free. And then when you're advertising your workshops, selling your products, charge a lot of money for it. So philosopher Nassim Taleb calls this the barbell theory. The way I've applied it in my personal life, it's either free or charge a lot of money. So let's say you want to be a commercial photography. If you want to be a commercial photographer or wedding photographer, start off by building your portfolio, shoot everything for free, advertise yourself on Craigslist or ask friends and family, blah, 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 blah. Once you're confident enough in your portfolio, then start advertising your services, and do not be cheap. Do not be a Walmart photographer. So friends, these are some practical tips I have in terms of earning $10,000 US a month in photography. To recap, it's probably gonna take you at least 5 years before you reach that point. Work 14 hours a day, drink lots of black coffee, espresso is what I recommend. Keep your living expenses to a minimum. So that might mean moving back with your parents, sharing a bedroom, canceling your smartphone plan, you really don't need it. Getting rid of your car, moving into a shittier neighborhood. Elon Musk survived when he was building X.com, which turned into PayPal. He survived on fucking $1 a day on food, or it might have been $2 a day, just eating spaghetti and hot dogs. Now he's worth $16 billion. He shared a laptop with his brother. They just rented a shitty apartment. No, not apartment, studio, office space. They did not own an apartment. They just slept in sleeping bags. They, what else they do? Oh, they showered at the local YMCA. And so fucking, if Elon Musk could do it, all of us could do it. So we have nothing to complain about. So reduce your living costs to a minimum. I think most of us as Americans, and I'm sorry, I'm speaking for Americans because I don't really know about the rest of the world. You could survive in America for $1,000 a month easily. If you can't afford that, move to Detroit. Lots of cool shit happening in Detroit. If you live in LA, move to Garden Grove. Living here is fucking cheap. If you really, really want to save money and build your own business, like if you want to be an internet blogger or something like that, move to Hanoi. Best coffee shops. Cindy and I could survive on less than $500 US a month. As an individual, if you wanted to really, really bootstrap it, you could actually probably survive okay, like $400 US a month. So know that you only have one life to live. Fucking make it great. Once you've tasted freedom, you can never go back to just working that shitty 9-to-5 job no more. And once again, guys, don't listen to me because this advice was probably not going to work for you. It's only worked for me, and I got lucky, very, very lucky with timing and everything. But I believe in you. All right, peace out, guys.